Welcome to another Creative Spin podcast. Today we're going all the way to Germany. Woohoo! My God, this is the beauty of the internet, and this is it. I mean, today is Germany. I think next week we have Australia. It's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be good. So I have a really cool guest. With a really interesting background, really fun history going on here. I'm not even going to attempt to go through your all of your history here because I feel like you need to do it because it's so interesting. So you're American, but you're in Germany. It's gonna be a good one. But let's hit the intro first, and then we're gonna come back to talk to Jonathan Tilley.
Today's podcast is brought to you by Workplace One, a company offering boutique private offices, co-working spaces, and virtual office solutions, as well as meeting rooms in the best neighborhoods of Toronto and Kitchener-Waterloo. Ideal for entrepreneurs, companies, and passionate business people. Workplace One is where you want to be with your business. For more information, go over to workplaceone.com.
Jonathan, how's it going?
I'm doing very well. Thank you so much for having me on the show.
All right, it's a pleasure. All the way from Germany. Where exactly in Germany?
So I'm in the town called Stuttgart, which not so many people know, but it's where they make all the cars, where Mercedes-Benz and Daimler and Porsche are housed. And the whole the industrial car manufacturing location is here in Germany. So it's a lot of industrial nerdy technical engineers, and then a handful of creative people.
Oh, there you go. Those are the most important people. I mean,
exactly.
Who cares about a nice looking car, right? And so the place is called Stuttgart?
Stuttgart, yeah.
I know you're just making fun of my accents in German. It is what it is. We can't all be fluent in every single language.
Exactly.
So Jonathan, you have quite an interesting story, and I'll let you tell everybody that's watching us or listening to us the interesting story of Jonathan.
Oh my goodness, where do I begin, and how much time do I have?
You've got 3 hours now. Just keep going.
So I'll give you the short version, but before we dive in, if you're watching this video, usually I have my hair and everything, but it was such a cold day today, and I just thought I'm going to put my hat on. And then this afternoon, we're going to have the podcast interview.
You were just afraid that we were going to have a little bit of gray hair competition.
Yeah, I'm going to say yours is a lot better than mine, but
got the gray hair going on. There you go.
I'm going to leave the gray hair winner to be you. So I can't compare. So a little bit about me. So hi, my name's Jonathan Tilley. I officially call myself a personal brand strategist. But what does that mean, and how did I get here? So I used to be a musical theater performer, and that's what brought me over from New York City to Germany, which was a 6-month tour tap dancing through Germany as a tap dancer and singer and musical theater performer in the show 42nd Street.
Oh, wow.
And I just thought, I'll just tap dance around for 6 months and then move back to New York City. But life had different plans for me. Then there were all these auditions where they were saying all these Broadway and West End shows, they were lifting them up from New York City and London and planting them into the German musical theater circuit, but they didn't have the ensemble members. They had the leading ladies and the leading men, but they didn't have the ensemble members because they didn't have like musical theater background. So they would hire Brits and Americans to come on over and be in the ensemble, punch us through with phonetics every day because the shows were in German. So that's how I got to learn German, singing all the songs that I knew in English.
Were you, at any given point, were you just singing words but without knowing the meaning of them?
For the first 3 years, yeah. The first 3 years, I had no clue what I was saying.
Well, that can be a problem.
Yeah, so I'm like, I think this is translated correctly from the English songs that I know. So I did like big shows like Mamma Mia, Cats, 42nd Street, A Chorus Line, Dance of the Vampires, all in the German musical theater scene. And I would not even get an audition in New York City, but I was being handed contracts in Germany. So it just said, okay, if the creative work is here, let me do it here. So while I was doing that at night, during the day, there were these voiceover studios that asked for native US speakers, which is basically American voiceover artists for, you know, a training film for Daimler Chrysler, or a training film for Mercedes-Benz or for Porsche on how to screw in a door handle, right? Just stupid little things. And I did not take it seriously at all. And so I would go in, do voiceover, and be like, you don't need me. This is completely ridiculous. I'm in Germany. You need a German speaker. They're like, no, we actually need an English speaker that lives in Germany, that understands a little bit of German to do these videos.
Interesting.
And after a couple of months, I'm like, who's my competition? Like, this is so stupid. This is the stupidest job. Like, I can't believe I'm doing this. I was very unprofessional way back when I started. And they said,
this is going back to what year are we looking at?
This is like 2006.
Okay.
And then I was like, so who's my competition? Do I need demos? Like, how do I do this? Right. And they're like, you have no competition. You're the only person in the county that,
wow.
And I'm like, oh, I need to be taking this more seriously. They're like, yeah, you do. So I took it seriously. I got some coaching, and luckily I had the whole acting and singing and performing background. So I just performed behind a mic. And instead of singing and performing to 2,000 people every night, I would perform to one person and be that much more intimate on the mic. So I secretly started this voiceover career.
So talk about stumbling into something, right?
Yeah, like did not even take it seriously. And so by 2007, I said, wait a minute, I'm booking all these gigs doing voiceover, not sweating, not having to deal with the backstage drama fits from all these people. And of course, I'm doing all the musical theater shows that I wanted to do, and I had checked them all off my list. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to take a break. So I stopped performing on stage. I started doing voiceover, still do voiceover, but it comes in very quickly and very sporadically. So in between those voiceover gigs, I was like, let me just build my website. And I took a couple courses on website and visual things and and graphic design. And that was in 2007 when the whole internet thing started to blow up.
Yeah.
And I just dove into online courses to teach myself, because I'm like, I'm not going to find it in Germany. I could speak the language, but I didn't want to invest the time in understanding the vocabulary of the specific niche things.
Yeah.
I don't know those words in German. I know how to order a beer and wine and food and have a gentle conversation. But talking about
that is very important as well.
It's true. But I don't know how to do, specific graphic design words when I'm just learning them myself. So I'm like, let me teach myself with online courses. So I dove into the online course realm and taught myself how to do web design. And then my friends would start to say, oh, who did your website? It looks great. I'm like, oh, I did. Like, are you for real? Let me do your website. And then friends of friends started to say, oh, can you do my website? I'm like, ooh, I think I'm building a business. So I started to, again, so let me start to charge people for that. So I started building people's websites. And then what happens after you launch a website? People go, so where do I find my clients? And I'm like, well, this is how I built my musical theater career. This is how I built my voiceover career. And this is how I'm building my web design career, which is direct email outreach to my dream clients and my demographics. And they're like, wait a minute, what is this? Like, you teach me business? I'm like, don't you know this? And apparently there's a chip in me that is like, for a creative person, like, where did this come from? I know how to build businesses, apparently. And I realized, oh, okay, why don't I turn my business building skills and my list building skills into an online course? So that's my signature course called League of List Builders, the creative person's marketing plan to know exactly what to say, when to say it, and who to say it to. And then that's when I started to go and continue doing web design, but also build this empire of online courses and teaching creative people how to build their businesses as well. But I'm almost done. Much less than 3 hours, not bad.
We're so like, oh my God.
And we just started. But there was something missing. I was always hiring photographers to do headshots, personal branding for my clients' websites. And and some of these were photographers who were my friends, and some of them were people that I knew or got recommendations from. And it was such a pain in the ass to organize everything and get the photographers in, and they wouldn't be delivering what I wanted. Where I was like, I want to respect the work that you're doing, but give me the goddamn camera, because you're not doing it right. You're not working with this client because she's a little bit older. She has a couple of wrinkles here and there, and she has a little bit of a double chin, and she's really trying to like get that double chin out of the way, but don't shoot her from below.
Yeah, you need to get the right angles and all of that.
Get the right angles. Like, I'm like, do you not see this? And I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Oh. So I bought my own camera. And now I do everything myself. Well, I do everything under my own roof. I have a team that helps me with everything, but I'm the one holding the camera. I'm the one posing the people. I'm the one saying, I know exactly how you should look, in which direction you should go in. So photography was the thing that was missing. But now I do it myself, and I love it. Essentially
what I'm hearing is, I think I heard this story before, because it sounds so much like me when I started Creative 7, kind of the same situation. It sounds like you basically started businesses based on your strengths and just evolved it from there, and just try to keep everything. I'm not going to say control everything, but in a way, yes, control the all the details that you were looking for, right?
Yeah. Guide it in a way that because I didn't know that they were my strengths. It was something that I was curious about.
It's just natural in you, right?
Yeah. And I know that if I'm curious about something, then I can turn that into a talent, or I can realize, whoa, I suck at this. Like, you do not want to know how many years I've tried to pick up the guitar and know how to play guitar. I can play 2 chords, and then my fingers start cramping, and then I have to go to the hospital because I have a crazy cramped claw. Like, it's something that I was curious about, but I had to put it down because I'm like, this is not something for me. So I just stayed curious, and the things that I go, I'm really enjoying this, and apparently I'm good at it. Let's see if we can turn this into a business.
And how do you feel like when people dive into your courses and all of that? Do you feel like they're finally getting it? Is it something that most people also have within them, but they just need that guidance that you're providing them?
99% of the work that I do when I'm working with other creative people is giving them permission to follow that curiosity.
Gotcha.
So or I'll give them the format, and I'm always saying, make it work for you. If this doesn't work for you, what are the other ways of taking the structure and the strategy and forming it around your specific needs or your specific situations? Just giving them permission, right? And I guess I've always been, my mom would always say, as a kid, I would always say to her when she said no to me, yeah, Mom, but how about if we did it this way? And our thing was, how about, that was my thing. How about I don't eat a grilled cheese sandwich, but I'll make a cheese sandwich myself. And she said, no, you can't have a grilled cheese sandwich or a cheese sandwich. I'm like, how about I just get 2 loaves of bread? And she's like, no. I'm like, how about I have 1 piece of bread and a piece of cheese? Like, I was constantly trying to deconstruct to get what I wanted, right? Versus people, if they ask their mom, can I have a grilled cheese sandwich? No. And then they just go, okay. So I always had a way of deconstructing things and figuring out how to really make it work for me. So that's the secret.
And you've been doing this now for how long, you said?
I've been teaching creative people how to build businesses and build their brands since 2019 now, almost 2020, since 2012, 13.
Okay. How has been the shift now with all of this new tech that's been coming in, all the new software, all the new apps and all that? How has that affected business people in your views, and how they operate their businesses?
Creative people?
Yeah. I'm asking because I want to hear the other side, another perspective as well.
Okay, so I'm noticing that it's becoming very, very polarizing, in the sense of there are people that I think like you and me, that are like, look at this tech, let's run with it and create some awesome stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a lot of people like, look at this tech, I'm going to buy it. And then just use it for Instagram.
Mm.
You know, I think maybe I'm dreaming this, I'm not sure, but I somehow remember that, you know, and the computer in an iPhone was the same type of computer that people use to bring people to the moon. But
Mm-hmm.
now everybody has this technology and they just want to use it for Instagram, where I just go, I'm not judging, but use the tools that you have to stay curious, but you have so many opportunities to use tech to make it something absolutely amazing. But sometimes people just don't know how to use it, or they're not willing to learn how to use it, or because everything's so instant gratification right now, they're not willing to invest the time into actually learning how to use it. They'd rather pay somebody to do it.
So you're of the opinion, I guess, like I am, that even though they have this powerful device in their hands, they're not using it to its full potential.
Not everyone, but the majority.
The majority.
Yeah.
Now, from a business perspective, what would you advise all of these younger entrepreneurs that are now starting to get into the world of business and have all of these devices at their fingertips, literally? Would you tell them to dive in, learn more about this? Because even though your business might be about something else completely different other than technology, you still need to know this. It's almost going back to what you were saying before. When you started, you dove in and you learned how to do your web design. You learned how to do all of that. Is that something that you still maintain, that you still say, you know what, if you're starting a business about mugs, you still need to know how to operate your computer properly, your software, your phone, so that you can make it work, so that everything can come together?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a huge fan of outsourcing. I'm a huge fan of freeing myself up to stay curious and to go into that mode of staying creative. And that's all fine and good, and it sounds wonderful, and it sounds mystical, it sounds magical. However, the bitter truth that no one's going to tell you until I open my big gob right now is it's hard. Like I started in the spare room in my apartment with this idea, and I worked my butt off and built and built and built until I was passing out in restaurants because I was so exhausted. And then it was the thing of, okay, the systems that I'm creating and the things that I'm creating, is there anything I can outsource? Whether it be a virtual assistant to do research, or whether it be bringing in a junior designer to be like, this is the aesthetic that we're going for, I need you to design in this direction. Whether it be a secretary to come in and be like, I need you 3 days a week just to answer emails and just take care of all the paperwork, because I can't do it anymore, right? Yeah. But you can't, and I see this with a lot of my clients, especially the startup clients, where it's like, we have this genius idea, we're going to take over Amazon and work with this specific product, and they have no idea how to build a business. Yeah. And they go, let me throw money at you. And I go, great, you know, that's fantastic. But I know 6 months down the line, you are going to, because you don't know the structure and how to build a business from the ground up from yourself, you're throwing money at somebody else. And your idea is no longer that authentic idea that it's stemming from something really heartfelt. It's let's create a drop shipping business, and then it goes out of business in 6 months because you don't know how to do it.
The business side of things, yeah. The ideas are great. The business side of things, I think, and I agree 100% with you. I see that on my clients as well. A lot of the newer clients that they're starting off these new ideas. Yeah, I think they're a little bit lost when it comes to the business and what it takes to actually get the business going. It doesn't, you know, we all have these dreams that things are going to work out perfectly. They won't. I mean, look at us right now. We were trying to get this thing going and it took us about 15 minutes more, but it is what it is, right? Yeah. Things will happen. And I think in a lot of cases, especially in the startup side of things, they're not being taken care of in the sense of putting that into the plan, right? And making sure that you will have the time, the money, the resources, the people around you that can help you develop your business on the business side, not the idea side, right?
Yeah.
Now, in terms of the big jump from the US to Germany, what has been the most interesting part of it? Was it the language barrier? Was it the culture? Because it's a completely different type of culture. Was it the weather? What was it?
You know, no one's really asked me that question. So that's I'm sideswiped. It sounds, it's so, let's say this. It sounds so romantic. I live in Germany. I speak German. I have this design agency. Oh my God.
Sounds great.
I'm so, oh my God. Like, I'm 42 and I like, oh man, like what the world's that, right? It's hard work, you know? And I came over here in 1999 for a 6-month tour of tap dancing through Germany. I came over here with a suitcase and like 2 pairs of jeans and a dream, and expected to come back to New York City. Did not expect to be here for the rest of my life. Right? So number one, if you get a ticket to go somewhere, get on the damn plane. Like that's the first, say yes to the job, because the main thing is showing up. Most people don't show up.
Yeah.
And if you do show up, like you're already ahead of the game. So show up. But if you're going, and I get this question asked all the time. Oh, it must be great to be in Germany. Like, can I just come over for 6 months and freelance? You make it look so easy. Girlfriend, shut it. Do you know how to speak German? Because anyone on the street will look at you like you are speaking Chinese if you're speaking English to them, and they will be like, you're in Germany now, speak German, bitch. Like they will treat you like crap. Yeah. And the whole Canadian American niceties, I'm not saying it especially American. And I think Canada, America, there's a huge difference. But over here in Germany, you get to earn my friendship. Yeah. Like and I am super bubbly. I'm super friendly. Like, hey, what's up? Right. But if you want to talk about business, if you want to talk about coming over to the romanticization, I just made up a word, the romanticizing of coming to Europe and Germany for 6 months, you will face the hardest lesson of your life, which is the culture shock of not being able to survive.
Yeah. Because one thing is going on holidays and having this idea, right? That's all great. But once you get in there and you have to actually, okay, now I have to speak the language. Whew, that has to be hard.
Yeah. Like I've never told anybody this publicly. For the first 2 years in Germany, it was so hard. Like I had no friends. I couldn't speak the language. I would go to the grocery store and be like, I lost a tremendous amount of weight because I would go to the grocery store, and if I didn't know what was in the can, I wouldn't buy it. So I would buy broccoli. And that's how I learned German. Broccoli in German is Brokkoli. Carrots in German is Möhren. So I would go to the supermarket, and that's how I learned German. I would go shopping for survival. and you know, people don't talk about that. And of course, you know, in Berlin, you know, it's very international now. Everybody speaks English and German in Berlin. But that's not everywhere. And there's always going to be this thing of, if you don't speak the language, you're going to be considered I don't want to say a second-class citizen, but you're an
outsider, right?
You're an outsider, right? Yeah. So whenever I meet somebody new in Germany, they always go, oh, I have to speak English now. I'm like, no, we're speaking German. And they go, oh, whoa, that's awesome. There's not too many people that come over here that are willing to take on the language. So that the
and it is a difficult language. I did try to learn it when I was younger. I was 18, 19, and I did a summer course, and I barely know how to count until 10, and that's about it.
But you did, and you did very well.
There you go. I still know it after 20 something years.
Still got it, man.
It's crazy. And okay, I mean, now after all of these adventures, do you see yourself staying in Germany? Is that the plan?
So here's the plan. And I've actually never said this publicly. You're pulling all these things out
Oh,
of me today. It's amazing.
this is what I do.
You've heard it first, ladies and gentlemen.
There you go.
I actually, in 2014, no, 16, 2016, I became a German citizen,
Mm.
and I had to give up my American passport.
Oh, so they don't allow you to have two citizenships.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
Ah,
Reason being is because I mean, I had a lifelong working visa, because to get that, you have to work 8 years straight with no break in between, and they can send you home any minute. But then when you get the lifetime visa, you're like, this is gold,
yeah.
until things start to get a little bit funky politically, and they can send people back home whenever. And and with the working visa, the lifetime working visa, it's great, but you're still a guest. You can't vote. You can't work anywhere other than Germany. And I was just like, I've been over in Germany for more than half of my life. I don't plan on going back to the States. So let me see what the options are to become German. And I said, I'm just going to stay curious, right?
Yeah.
I'm just going to go and do everything. And I can always turn around on that moment when they say, okay, here's your, like, we're switching the passports. Like, are you sure you want to become German and give up your American citizenship? So I said, I'm not going to make a final decision. I can always walk away up until that point. So I just want to go through this and see what happens. Was it a little bit of an identity crisis? Yes. Will I always sound like an American? Yes. Will I, like, so no matter where I live, I don't fit in.
And I think the world now is a little bit different. I mean,
we're so global now, you know?
we're so global. I don't think it's going to make much of a difference. If we were looking back 20, 30 years ago, yeah, there was probably a little bit of, more issues politically and all that kind of thing. But even for work nowadays, I mean, look at us. We're communicating. What time is it there? It's 10:50 here, 10:50 in the morning.
It's 10 minutes to 5 in the evening. So it's officially the weekend in 10 minutes, you know. And especially with the internet, we're so global. We're having a conversation now across the Atlantic. I have clients all over the world, and it doesn't matter anymore, you know.
It doesn't. Honestly, I don't think it does. So what do you see for the future, for the in the creative business? How do you see it evolving in the next, I don't know, let's not go too far away because things are evolving so quickly lately. Let's say 10 years from now. I mean, think about it. 10 years ago, that's when the iPhone came to us, really, and look how much everything has changed since then. So let's just do a little jump 10 years ahead. How do you see the creative business going?
I think there's going to be a lot more. We were even speaking about it when we chatted at the beginning of the week. A lot more video. You were saying there's and still all the content that I create, the majority of it is video. Mm-hmm. People are not watching TV anymore. People are watching Netflix. It's all streaming. Yeah. Things are going to get even more hyper focused. For example, the people that love Netflix don't love what else?
We got Disney Plus now coming.
Disney Plus, right? So there's a lot of visual. So for the photographers, for the videographers, it's like we have so much work coming at us, or work that we have to find. For the people that aren't visually impaired, we have iPhones and smartphones that are like I said before, that can send people to the moon, way back when. So just learn a little bit more about how to use your smartphones and how to create content and how to just keep putting yourself out there.
They're so powerful now. I mean, even with this, even the ones before, but now the latest iPhone and these latest phones, I mean, the cameras on those things are like spectacular.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so there's so much that you can do. I think people are running out of excuses not to do something.
And that's the thing. In my other online course, My Content Calendar, How to Build Your Brand on Instagram One Day at a Time, the majority of the people are like, but I don't know what to post. And I'm like, okay. And then I
So
give
much.
them ideas, and then they go, but I don't know how to use my camera. It's like, then learn. That's what's
Yeah.
in the course, you know? So it's not hard. You just got to stop being, like we said in the beginning, there's either people that are going to take it and run, or there's going to be people that take the technology and are so damn lazy that they don't even know the genius that's in their hand and the amount of connection that they can make with their smartphones.
Yeah, and I think they just have to stop making excuses. I mean,
Yeah.
one of our first videos that we did a year and a half or 2 years ago already, it was really about that. Is about the excuses. Like I was like that too. I was full of excuses all the time. I don't have the right camera. I don't have the right lighting. I don't have the right sound system. I don't have the right whatever. And there was always an excuse.
Yeah.
And that's what delayed us from doing what we're doing today. We could have been doing this 5 years ago. And the reason why we didn't do it is because excuses. There was nothing else. I mean, it's funny now that we have all the equipment that we can, I find myself just grabbing the phone. Just doing things on the phone. So much for the big lighting and cameras and all of that.
I'm
there's no
so
point
glad
there.
I dropped 10 grand on that on the studio when I have my iPhone. Yeah.
Let's not talk about that. The accountant might be watching this. Yeah. So Jonathan, any last things that you might want to let us know, something that I might have forgotten to ask you, or something that you just want to tell our audience about you or what you do or anything?
You know, I think just to round this baby off in style, I think for the people that are like, I don't have the right equipment. I don't know what to post. I don't know what to what I'm always saying and what I'm always trying to practice is to document the creative process. Document your process. Having a crap day, take a photo of it.
Mm-hmm.
Having a great day, take a photo of it. Having document the process. And you may think that it's silly, stupid, trivial, whatever, but believe me, there are 7 billion people out there in the world that if they follow you, if they see what you're doing, they're going to find you fascinating. I liken it to the thing of you go on this beautiful vacation and you just go into the hotel room and you're like, this is amazing. Because the first time that you're in the space. But by the end of the week, you're just like, there's the jacuzzi, there's the bed, there's the pool. You get used to it, right?
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
we are so used to our own lives that we don't see ourselves as fascinating at all. Yeah. However, believe me, there are so many people that if you just share and document your creative process, the good days, the bad days, and everything in between, it's going to A, make you seem so much more authentic. B, you're going to lean into the vulnerability and really show up and be seen. And C, you're going to have something to look back on in 5, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years time and go.
And it's unbelievable the connections that you can make because of all of that, right?
Yeah, totally.
I mean, this is a perfect example. If we weren't putting out our podcasts and our videos, we would have never connected.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Just one of those things. Now we're adding value to our lives and all of that. And I think, and I 100% agree with you. People just need to start documenting. Yeah. Stop, worrying about what other people have to say, other people's opinions. Who gives a crap about that? Just keep putting information out. I 100% agree.
Exactly.
Jonathan, thank you so much for being in our Creative Spin podcast. It was really, really cool to talk to you.
Thank you so much.
Now I know that next time we go to Germany to film some things, we'll have a beer.
Yeah, please let me know. I'll stop by.
Never been, but never know.
I'll hold I'll hold the light or whatever. Like I'll help you guys out however I can. I love experiencing the creative process.
All right, cool. So we're gonna put all your contacts and links and all the stuff on the description below, so that anybody that's watching this that is interested in finding out a little bit more about Jonathan, they can go click and follow and just see what you're up to and what you're doing all the way in Germany. Jonathan, once again, thank you, my friend. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
And we're going to keep communicating, okay?
Definitely.
All right. That's it.